Hi, welcome to Online Appliance Tech. Today we're going to work on the Maytag top load washer. We're going to show you how to activate the diagnostic mode, how to pull up the errors, and explain to you what the error codes mean. To activate the diagnostic mode, you're going to use key 1, key 2, key 3, and you'll do this same sequence up to 2 to 3 times or more until the LED starts to blink. Let me show you. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then the LED lights will illuminate, and then they'll go off, and then we'll move to the next step. So once you're in diagnostic mode, you'll use key or temp options or deep fill, which is key 1, 2, and 3 to activate the next section. So just say if you want to pull up the error codes, you can just press the third one time momentarily. Don't hold it because then you'll erase. So just press it one time and then it'll start shooting the error codes. So right now I'm going to show you exactly what these mean. This is 3 and 2. So let's go to the chart. Okay, let's explain what these LED blinking lights mean. So we have 3, which is on LED group 5, and the other 2 are on 6. So that equals, or the value is 7. So that'd be F7. And then since we have 2, which the value is 3, so that'd be F7E3. So let's see exactly what this means. Okay, error code F7E3 states that basket engaging during wash. So basically it shouldn't be engaging, it should be either in agitation or spin mode. And sometimes when this happens, even the washer won't even start. Like you'll press a button and won't even start. It says fault is stored with the main control. It determines the shifter is not engaged in the basket or spin during disengaging for the washer. In other words, it's not shifting. So you can do a shifter test, check the shifter, but more likely it's going to be the gear case assembly itself. But the shifter is definitely the first thing to check. Okay, let's see if we have any other stored error codes. We'll just hit the third button momentarily one more time, and then it'll display any other stored errors. As you can see here, we have 3, and then we have 1 on LED 5. So 3 is F7, and then we have the 1 here, which is E4. So F7 E4. So let's see exactly what this means, and this is basically how you would troubleshoot your washer. So F7 E4, basket re-engaging failure. So it kind of goes with F7 E3. So at this point you can just check the shifter. More likely it's probably going to be the gear case, but yeah, you can check the shifter. Sometimes it is a shifter. So the shifter, what it does, it helps the basket move up and down the shaft to go from agitation, and then when it drops it goes to spin mode. So if the shifter is not working correctly, it will cause this error code. Then you'll press the third button one more time momentarily to see if you have any other stored error codes. As you can see, it's showing the first error code we got. So if you keep on getting the same error codes, that means that that's it, there's no other ones, and then you can just turn or press the power button to turn it off or just unplug it. Okay, let's get started with the error codes. So if you get an error code, this should help you figure out what it means. So the first error code is FOE2. This means or states over suds. It could be because of the not using H2 detergent or actually using too much. Or it could be a loose connection from the tube that connects to the main control board. It states it could be pinched, kinked, which would not allow the air to pressure correctly to the main board. Or it could be the main control board. So hopefully this helps. Okay, the next error code is FOE3. This is overload. So this can occur when the load side exceeds the washer capacity, meaning you put way too much laundry in the tub itself. Or it could be a mechanical failure with the mechanism itself, meaning the belt may be locked up, or the motor itself, or there's something in between the tub which is not allowing the tub to spin correctly. What I would do is put your hand inside the tub and spin it and see if it spins smoothly. If it doesn't, that means there's something locking up the tub, or you're just putting way too much laundry in there. Okay, next error is FOE4. This states spin limited by water temperature. So basically is saying the water temperature is too high and it will not allow the washer to spin above 500 RPM. I would check the water inlet valve, make sure it doesn't have like a leak or where basically the valve doesn't close by itself. So if you wake up in the morning and you have a little bit of water in your tub, that indicates that the valve is leaking and you would have to replace it, or it could be the main control board which is not telling the valve to turn off itself. So next error code is FOE5. This is the off balance error code. So this could be caused by if the suspension is going out, meaning the shocks that holds the tub, or is uneven loads, or too much laundry or placed inside the machine as you're washing. So just make sure you don't put too much in there. Make sure the machine is also level. Next error code is FOE7. This load detects when running clean washer cycle. So in other words, if you're running your wash cycle with clothes inside the washer, it will detect it and shoot an error code. So just make sure you do the wash clean cycle with no clothes in the washer. And next error code is FOE8. This states water ring. So in other words, this fault is displayed when there's too much residual water detected. So run the drain and spin cycle. So if you do have a lot of leftover water, you have water inside your tub over time without even using the washer, you could have a leaky water inlet valve, which is dripping water in the tub, or it's not spinning correctly, or you just basically have a pump that's not pumping out the water correctly. So those are things to look for if you do get this error code. Okay, next error code is FOE9. This is OB pause. So in other words, this machine will detect when the washer machine is off balance during probably the spin cycle. So you should check the suspension, make sure that the inner tub is not loose where it's coming from the shaft, or just make sure you put even loads in the washer and not just one big bed sheet on the right hand side. So things to look for. Okay, next is F1E1. This is the main control fault. So in other words, if you get this code, I would recommend just calling a service technician, because there's a lot of electrical checks and that would kind of be hard to explain over a YouTube video. Okay, the next error code is F2E1. This is HMI stuck button. In other words, the display where you turn the washer on and so forth, your buttons are getting stuck, or sometimes they just beep by themselves, but more likely they're just not working. So if you're getting this error code, here's a picture. You can see here how to activate it by just putting in service test mode and just momentarily press 1, and then you should have all the LED lights illuminate. You can just press each one to see if it's working correctly or not. So here's some information once you put it in service test mode. So you'll press momentarily 1, and then you'll enter the activation test to test the buttons. Okay, error code F2E2. This is a HMI disconnection. So in other words, the main control board has a harness that connects to the display control board. So if this harness comes out just enough, it could shoot this code. So make sure your connections are all into place. And then if that doesn't fix the problem, I would have a technician do like a continuity check from throughout the wiring harness, obviously unplugged. And then if you still have the problem, more than likely you have some type of display control board problem or main control board problem. Okay, F3E2, this is a pressure system fault. So in other words, the hose that connects from the tub to the main control board could be pinched or kinked or plugged with some type of debris. If this doesn't fix the problem, more than likely it is the main control board, but more than likely it's just clogged or pinched, which I've seen in the past. Okay, the next error code is F3E3, in the water temperature fault. So in other words, that the thermistor is not detecting the temperatures. So at this point you can change the thermistor itself, or you can have a technician, if you don't feel comfortable enough, to check the wiring from the thermistor to the main control board and make sure you have no type of open line. And then at that point, if that passes, it's going to be your main control board. Okay, error code F5E1. This is a lid switch fault. Lid is open. So in other words, the lid is it thinks it's open but it's closed, you can basically replace the lid switch if you want to for a beginning, but it could be the main control board. At this point, I would just call a service technician out to look at this one. Okay, F5E3, this states the lid lock will not unlock or the lid lock will not lock. So at this point, you can test the lid lock, but you may, like I said earlier, call a technician to make sure it's diagnosed correctly, because it could be the main control board also. So it's either going to be the lid lock or the main control board at this point, but that's what the F5E3 means. F5E4, lid not open in between cycles. So in other words, if you keep on pressing the start button over and over without opening the lid, you can receive this error code, or you can just make sure that the lid or the lid lock itself, there's no type of debris in between the switch. Okay, error code F6E1, this is a communication error. HMI cannot hear ACU, so I would do a continuity check throughout the wiring from the display control board to the main control board. If you're not good with a multimeter, just have a service technician check this, and if there's no problem there, more likely it's the main control board itself, or even the display control board. So like I stated, just get a service technician to check this one out if you do receive this error code. But more than likely it's going to be the display control board. That's where I would put my money at. Okay, error code F7E3, basket engaging during wash. So this can happen when the main control board determines the shifter is not engaging. So one thing I would check is the shifter, and then check the shifter connections. If all this passes, more than likely it's the gear case itself. Error code F7E4. So this is basket re-engaging failure. So when the basket doesn't want to or if it can't re-engage, things to check for is clothing in between tub, make sure the shifter slider moves freely, and check shifter connections. So yeah, the shifter is, they call it actuator too. I do have a video I'll try to leave at the end so you can understand more about this. Okay, next error code is F7E6, motor circuit open. So in other words, the motor itself has an open wind-in, or the harness from the motor to the main control board has a short. You can do a continuity check from the motor circuit to the main control board if you understand how to use a multimeter. But if uncomfortable or so forth, just call a service technician and they should be able to pinpoint it at this point. Okay, error code F7E7, motor unable to reach target RPM. This could be the shifter, it could be the basket that's not engaging correctly to allow it to spin, or it could be even the drain pump not getting the water out. So there's multiple tests at this point, and yeah, like always, I would recommend calling a service technician, but at least you kind of understand what the problem is and so forth and what it means. Error code F8E1, long fill. I would check the hoses, make sure they're not clogged, and also make sure the screens are not plugged that goes into the water inlet valve, and make sure the pressure to your house is not low. And if that doesn't work, check your water inlet valves, they could be faulty. Okay, F8E3, overfill or flood condition. I would check the valves, make sure they're not leaking water inside the tub. It could be a bad valve. Also, it could be a pressure transducer fault, basically the main control board not corresponding, or it could be the pinch tube that goes from the main control board to the tub itself, which can mess up the pressure or make the main control board sense different since it's clogged. So things to check. F8E6, water hazard error code, kind of just like the last one. Check the valves for one thing, then you're going to check the water level. In other words, if the main control board thinks you have 2 or less of water, that could be due to the hose that connects to the main control board to the tub. So make sure it's not kinked or have any type of debris or zip tied tightly to the side of the machine, which sometimes can pinch the line itself. error code F9E1 drain pump system. In other words, long drain. So you will check the drain hose to make sure it's not clogged. Check the drain pump and make sure it's not clogged. If it's not clogged, more likely it's a pump. Also, you want to make sure you check the connection tubing from the main control board to the tub. This is how the main control board detects the water pressure, which tells it how much water to put in the tub and so forth. Also, you can use too much detergent. So these are things to check. So now I'm going to show you how to place this washer in automatic test mode. It'll basically just go through all the sequence, cold, hot, and so forth. So you'll put it in service test mode, and once the LED blink, you'll hit the middle button, the second, and if you hit it again, nothing will happen because you do have to hit the start button. So once you hit the start button, it'll start to go through the sequence. I will leave a chart here. Here we go. And this will show you exactly the steps and the times and so forth. So say if it's supposed to be 5 seconds and it's 1 second, or if it doesn't even work at all, that means that you're like number 2. If the hot water doesn't come out, then obviously you should have an error code that states you have a water in the valve problem also. So at this point, it'll just kind of go through all the steps manually, and it'll show you what's working and what's not working, if that makes sense. So I hope this video was helpful, and please like and subscribe for more future tips and videos. And thank you, and have a good one. Bye bye.